You might be wondering, why shouldn't Steph Curry have won an NBA championship? He's the best shooter ever, he deserves it. And yeah, you're right. But it never should have happened. From his perspective, he had the will and dedication to win, but from our perspective, he was just an undersized, unathletic hooper and people always had something to doubt about him. Let me explain. You wanna know why Curry never should have been an NBA champion? Growing up, everyone told him that he was too small. As a high school sophomore, Steph was just 5'6" and 125 pounds. He lacked strength, size and toughness. When Steph was young, he would have to shoot from his waist because he wasn't strong enough to shoot it over his head. When it came to recruiting, no college even wanted Steph. He wasn't even rated as a high school recruit. That's how much no one recognized him. Even Virginia Tech, his father's alma mater, didn't really want him. They considered Curry but said he would have to walk on, which is like a slap in the face to any athlete's dream. Does that sound like an NBA champion to you? Okay, let me ask you something. Who was the first person to believe in Steph? The answer is Bob McKillop. He was the coach of the basketball team of Davidson College, a small liberal arts school in his local town. All the other coaches saw Curry's weaknesses, but Coach McKillop saw brilliance, and it paid off. In Steph's second game, he scored 32 points to win the game. He's grown to 6'3" by his sophomore year. His games continue to be on fire. He dropped 40 against Gonzaga and 2 days later he dropped 30 on Georgetown, two of the top ranked schools in the nation. Curry continued to prove everyone wrong. He averaged 32 points on Davidson's magical journey to the top 8 teams of the NCAA First Division tournament. Before Curry, Davidson was not recognized at all as a competitive threat, let alone make the Elite 8. So Steph had an incredible rise in his college career. He then declared for the 2009 NBA draft and was selected 7th by the Warriors, which already sounds like a success story to me. But even after he proved himself, even after leading the nation in scoring, pushing Davidson to miraculous wins and putting on outstanding performances, Curry was, again, an underdog. He heard the same things that haunted him after high school. He's too small for the NBA, he's not strong enough and can't handle the bigger dogs. And to be honest, they had a point. Imagine a 6'3" point guard who is rather skinny than muscular, who doesn't have extraordinary speed, explosiveness or athleticism, and who has to go up against 6'7", 200+ pound players. How could someone like this win an NBA championship while being a seriously contributing player? Well, this is where Curry's second rise begins. If you would make the NBA, would you be satisfied with being at the bottom of the league because you would still make millions and be able to provide for your family? Or would you feel the thirst to become one of the best? In Curry's case, it was the latter. He knew that he was the smallest and one of the weakest guys, so he focused on the thing he does best, shooting. Steph worked on his shot and dribbling every single day. In his rookie season, he averaged 17.5 points, 5.9 assists and shot 43.7% from 3, finishing second in the Rookie of the Year voting. The following years, he had to battle some injuries, but overall, his numbers kept increasing. In the 2012 and 13 season, Steph averaged almost 23 points and shot over 45% from deep, while breaking the NBA record for 3-pointers made in a season. Now, everyone had Curry on their radar. But as you can expect, this wasn't enough. Until this point, Steph didn't have any playoff success. But that would change 2 years later. In 2015, he led the Golden State Warriors to the first seed in the Western Conference with 67 wins. In the first round, they swept the Pelicans 4-0. They finished the second round 4-2 against the Grizzlies, also in convincing fashion. In the Western Conference Finals, they played against the Houston Rockets and blew them out 4-1. So the only thing standing between Curry and the championship was LeBron and the Cavaliers. And after 6 hard-fought games, the Warriors defeated the Cavs and Steph Curry finally became an NBA champion. But what if he wasn't? I mean, he did have a championship ring, but was he really a true champion? Why am I even asking that? Because he didn't win the Finals MVP. Instead, Andre Iguodala did. So technically, Curry wasn't even the hero of the team in the most important series. Don't get me wrong, the championship meant a lot to him, and after also winning the regular season MVP, Steph was considered an NBA superstar. But because of this fact, there were still players who doubted him. They questioned his ability to carry his team when it mattered most. Okay, let's quickly recap, because Steph Curry already rose twice and proved everyone wrong, right? After high school, no one believed he could be an NBA player, but he had an astonishing rise at Davidson College and made it to the league. The same doubts were coming up again, but Steph kept improving, broke a 3-point record, won MVP and a championship. And still, this isn't enough? Yep, this is where Curry's third rise begins. In 2016, Steph won his second consecutive MVP. And while this added some respect to Curry's name, the doubts didn't vanish. The Warriors again made it to the finals, but this time lost to the Cavaliers after being up 3-1 in the series. This made Steph stand in an even worse light. However, the next season they strengthened their roster by adding Kevin Durant. And yeah, as no one could have expected, they again finished as the first seed, stomped through the playoffs and this time almost swept LeBron and the Cavaliers 4-1. But while Curry won his second ring, this didn't mean anything to his legacy, as Kevin Durant won the finals MVP this time, meaning he wasn't the most valuable player on his postseason team. But we still have 2018, right? Well, new year, same story. Warriors finish first, stomp through playoffs, this time sweep the Cavaliers, Curry wins third ring, Kevin Durant wins finals MVP. Now we have to ask ourselves, how can a guy with 3 championships and 2 MVPs to his name not be respected by everyone? With KD on the roster, the Warriors team was so ridiculously strong that it felt unfair when they were winning. But the story doesn't end here. Would be quite unsatisfying if Curry didn't get his redemption, wouldn't it? In 2019, Kevin Durant left the team and Golden State made some adjustments to their roster. While still keeping their core of Curry, Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, the franchise always remained a potential championship contender. So in 2022, they were ready again. The Warriors played dominant, winning 4-1 against the Nuggets, 4-2 against the Grizzlies and 4-1 against the Mavericks to reach the NBA Finals, where they were facing the Celtics. After trading games back and forth, Golden State came out on top, closing the series in 6 games. Okay, Curry won a 4th ring, but who won the Finals MVP award? The relief-bringing answer to that is Stephen Curry. At this point, doubters and haters didn't exist anymore. Everyone respected Curry, and he had nothing left to prove. If you enjoyed this triple rise of Steph, you could help me by liking and subscribing. So now you know about Steph, but you still don't know what the best draft in NBA history was. Maybe Curry was a part of it. You definitely don't want to miss this. So just click on the screen. I'll see you there.